Welcome, Shivani. Please start.
Okay, thank you, Shivana. Thank you, and thank you, Maven. So, I'm starting now, Shivana. Is that fine?
Yes, please start.
Okay, so today one thought about the topic about startups and leadership, their founders, and the reason that prompted me to kind of pick up this was under consciously positive was that. Recently there was a huge it's still going on uh, in the media, a lot of articles, a lot of tweets after the union minister Mr. Piyush Goyal at startup Mahakumbh just a couple of days back said something which is not again which was something other than praising and creating the euphoria on today's business, which is called startups. So, as an exception, it was something where he tried to probably, I would say, first time someone from the government level or someone from place of position uh, gave a reality check to what is happening uh, to, to, to today's the new generation businesses which are coming, and the terminology referred is startups. So I thought it might be interesting to pick up that in the context of, and I kind of connected it with leadership in a I don't know how much one can kind of connect both in this short time, but I thought it would be important to kind of bring this up in today's discussion. And to begin with, we have in the last, I would say, close to 10 to 15 years, we have been hearing a lot globally, and yes, started with the West. This whole uh, talk about startups, the businesses, and it obviously came to India, and a massive euphoria craze, and a lot of good statistics as well about it. Uh, if one talks about the whole, the so-called the rosy picture. The government announced the huge program on startups, a lot of funding going to them, and the recent report, talks about uh, India being the third largest startup ecosystem, close to 120 to 150,000 startups, uh, third largest number of unicorns. Now, unicorns are startups which have reached the levels of the global businesses. Uh, it's a lot to talk about that. It has made a shift in the mindset from being job seekers to job self creators and job creators. So the shift in the mindset towards entrepreneurship, which primarily in India was more dominant about getting a job, a lot getting into government job was has been the aim and desire. Then there's also the talk about gender parity, that this entire uh, euphoria and the talk has brought in a gender parity, that it's given a lot of opportunity to even the female segment to kind of get into entrepreneurship and do something on its own. Well, that I would probably say was also there, if we remember the cottage industries, so that was all about the arms and the papads and the chutneys which were coming out from groups of women from villages, like the very known one is the Seva, which has been doing that. So it says that it has brought gender parity. Now, all this has happened because the digital infrastructure has become quite good. So there's also an encourage of informal way of people doing something on their own. And a reference over here is a lot of people who are getting onto the social media platforms and opening their own channels, and uh, of different kinds, right? From people talking some very, very nuanced and very informative, very beneficial informations, to a lot which is said to also be a lot of harm. So in a way, it is said that that's also kind of uh, you know a so-called flip to becoming self-independent financially. So a lot of people who have their channels on YouTube, they say I'm a YouTuber. A lot of coaches, mindset programmers, NLP practitioners. Uh, so a lot of this booming of this kind of category has come into play. So this is all is said to be, the so-called positives about the digital strengthening of the digital ecosystem. Now, there's also the statistics that because uh, the startups were concentrated in few places, there was a lot of focus on building a lot of highways and airports so that tier 2 cities and tier 2 towns can get strengthened. So their statistics is that close to from 74 to 157 airports have come in. The road network has grown by 59% in the last 10 years. Internet consumption in India has risen from 0.27 GB to 20.27 GB. Then it's also saying that as I said, unicorns have come up in different sectors. So these are some very rosy picture about the startup ecosystem of India, right? Now, though there are huge campaigns and initiatives and even businesses set up to give further impetus to this entire trend and contemporary outlook of startups by youngsters. So you have a lot of incubation hubs, incubation centers, accelerators all over India. And we also do get to know, oh, this X startup, the COU you find coming everywhere now. However, the latest statistics which have come into the media, it says that uh, you know 55 of India's most valued startups incurred losses in 2020. And there is a data which says internationally as well as in India that 90% of the startups fail. The average failure rate for 1 year is 10%. However, to in years 2 through 5, a staggering 70% of new businesses fall. Then it also says that there are 112 startups in India. Their financial statements for financial 24, uh, out of the 112, 45 have ended profitably with a cumulative profit of 7,137 crores. Whereas out of the 112, balance 67 startups have given the, the this report is up till the startups who have shared their financial status. So it is about 112 only. So out of that, 67 have registered losses, and that is to the tune of 21,472 crores. Now, out of the top very celebrated startups, if you type, you will get some 10 or 15 names, and they're all the big names, which are showing a loss in their balance sheet. This is keeping in mind huge funding rounds to them, huge valuations, and the personal wealth of the founders. You will see a rise in that. So, keeping these factors in mind, we find that now in that, startups like the unicorns, like the Paytm, etc., Ola, for more than they have accounted for 3,000 crores of losses. But at the same time, it says that they have also been able to cut the losses. So there, the losses were huge, but the financial year 24, they were able to even cut the losses. Now, this I've just tried to run with the a broader picture about the startup euphoria and a lot of good, which has been celebrated, which has been talked about a lot, and it has become a reason of inspiration for a lot of young kids, students studying in and looking for a career after their 12th or after their engineering or after their post grad, whatever be the case. So now this brings up certain questions to my mind. uh, Now, will these kind of huge losses, this is after them they all getting huge funding, and their personal worth, their personal uh, brand equity in terms of wealth has risen. Will India be able to become a 555 trillion economy by 2047, which our government and the prime minister talks about? Now, it is in this context we also have to get reminded that the report which talks about the increased widening gap between the haves and the have-nots and the unemployment level. The other part is the push to the middle class, which is again being pushed downward. Rural youth and agriculture, I'm just not touching upon. Environment. Now, it is in this context I will also quote the minister Piyush Goyal saying that, are we going to have, he said in the Mahakumbh that, are we going to be happy just being delivery boys and girls? Is that the destiny of India? This is not a startup. This is entrepreneurship. What the other side is doing, that is what is other countries doing: robotics, machine learning, 3D manufacturing, next generation factories. A very interesting word which he uses is when he questions, he questioned whether the country was content with this low paying jobs which are being created rather than focusing on technology for progress. He says, do we have to make ice cream or chips? दुकानदारी ही करनी है. Do we want to just sell things? He asked. Now, if you and we all analyze all these startups, the big ones, which we celebrate and talk about, at the end of the day, they are all being made by very big people passing out from huge A-list academic institutions. But what have they done finally? आई थिंक मिस्टर गोयल हैज सेड इट ब्यूटिफुली, क्या हमें दुकानदारी ही करनी है? तो दुकानदार तो एक अनपढ़ गवार भी करता है छोटी सी दुकान खोल के. Now, the other point was possibly he is not highlighted in his statement is that we are only turning out people as delivery boys and girls or customer service, you know. आप phone karo and this is the problem. So this is the huge employment which has been generated by this new terminology which came into existence called startups. Now, the other very important aspect which we talked about last time is that have we also thought about what is it impacting our environment as such? When petrol and diesel is being spent by the bikers running on the road and delivering you two carrots and two nibus and one pizza. And then you also talk about the plastic and the cardboard boxes which are in which you are being delivered. So what is it adding to the environment? Minister talked about what is it adding to the India, to its economy, to its people by turning people into delivery boys and girls and turning everybody into a dukandar. I am adding another point which is about the environment. So minister then also says that the population of India is 1.5 billion and it has the world's largest third startup ecosystem. And though there are 1.57 or 1.60 lakh government recognized startups and more than 100 unicorns, still that's the situation. That's the reality other side. So his question was that where is the investment on technology for a larger purpose into manufacturing, into electrical vehicles, which we talked about last time, that are we looking at technology as an enabler or we are becoming a slave of that by making fantasy games and apps, ice cream delivery apps, achar making and buying online, opening these YouTube channels? Is this the kind of business which is going to add value? So now, then there is a list in the media recently that the huge top list of the top startups that are making losses. So it's like Farm Easy, which is into medical area, pharmacy and medical, and it has a loss of 2,531 crores. Swiggy has registered a loss of 2,350 crores. Ola, 1,584 crores in 24. Paytm, 1,422. Big Basket, 1,267. Zepto, which is a grocery delivery app, 1,248 crores. Physics Wala is an online platform with a loss of 1,131 crores. Then there is an Indian electric two-wheeler manufacturer in Bangalore that has registered a loss of 1,059. There is Clear Trip, which is an online travel agency with 810 crores loss. So there's a huge list of this, and this is a very recent one from Inc. 42, and it's easily available online. Now I'm coming to the other aspect. It's all very recent news which I'm sharing. Now this is about the what has happened in the employment space by these startups. And if you check the recent news, you will see that I'm just sharing with you the screenshots which I have taken. And I don't know whether I'll be able to share you right now or not, but it talks about huge losses that the country has witnessed in job. Like 90,000 IT employees have lost job in 2024. Mass firings in the Indian startups for employees. No job security, no safety net, says a startup founder. AI could wipe out 40 to 50% of the white collar Indian jobs, startup jobs cuts, tech layoffs in 2025 by Microsoft, Google, Amazon. So these are, few of the, screenshots which I could take. Then I'm bringing to you another point which, has come in the media. And this is about us. I can share all these screenshots I have, and you can also find it on your own as well. So this is a screenshot in which there is this Vanya Agarwal. She's an Indo-American in US, and she there was a recent 50-year celebration by where Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer and Satya Nadella, the current chief, was sitting, and there is this girl who stands up and shouts that how fair, she yelled at the event and says, "Shame on you all are hypocrites. 50,000 Palestinians in Gaza have been murdered with Microsoft technology. How dare you? Shame on all of you for celebrating in their blood. Cut ties with Israel." So this is a media news, and I can always you can type and find this out as well. Uh, the headline of this news is in it's covered by all the big newspapers, and this is reported in Hindustan Times and Mint. And the headline of this story, if you type Vanya Agarwal, you will be able to get the headline of the story. Then there is this story where it talks about I'm just opening and telling. This is the headline is, "Who is Vanya Agarwal, Microsoft engineer, fired for confronting Bill Gates and Satya Nadella on the 50th celebration?" Then there is a news which is talking cleared JEE gate but earns just 35,000 a month. PhD scholar's story sparks online debate, reported in Economic Times today. So these are, few of the things which I kind of thought to put up both the pictures, the rosy picture and the other picture which has not been talked about, or uh, it's probably kind of sidelined, but for some reason God made it spell out by the horse's mouth, which is by the minister himself, who said at the start of Mahakumbh कि दुकानदारी ही करनी है क्या, मतलब बेचना ही है क्या, and are you only going to turn people into delivery boys and girls and make ice cream selling apps and fantasy games app? Is this what India's destiny is all about? So I just thought to give a, the good and the bad, that yes, a lot of celebration. We all keep hearing about how all this is giving a lot of people a way to work, way to earn money, and how startups have changed the mindset, etc., etc. But the other reality I thought is also important to bring out. And why, what a good thing that it is stamped by the Government of India minister. Now, why leadership I thought to bring in here. So, does a question come that what is this? What is there a question mark on or thought about what is the kind of leadership, or what is the kind of founders, or the what is the kind of people who are supposedly driving the economy for 140 billion people, what is there a does a thought come to about them? When you are hiring people, you are raising funds, and your personal wealth is growing, but the organization is going loss. So many crores of loss. This is a very recent data. The story is filed 2 days of 3 days back. Is there a question about founders and the leaders of today? Well, to me, it comes. And the other side is how people are being thrown out of the job. Very well, you have studied hard, you have struggled, you have done a lot of study, gone deep into it, you have worked out, but you are sitting out of place. And today, for getting, I mean, I'm from marketing and media, but today people want a media coverage in 5,000 and 15,000 and 10,000. Is that possible? Do you get a maid servant for 10,000 and 50,000? A guard's salary is 15,000. So do we think about what we are asking for and what we are talking about? And does this give an indication about the people who are heading and people who are sitting in position and giving directions? So for me, there was a question mark. And, we have coaches, we have CEO coaches who are mentoring these CEOs of today's time. And we also hear about terms like flourishing leaders, etc. Now, I was talking to somebody, and he's a very senior person, and he said, Shivani, should it be flourishing leaders or flourishing institutions? So, this talks about the entire ethos, which I talked about in my last session. And this talks about consciously positive. What is mindfulness here? What are we consciously positive about here? Just manifesting more and more for myself. And then what? Use and throw. You hire a person. After 6 months, you throw the person. Is this leadership? Or if this had been the leadership 50 years, 70 years back, had we ever got companies like Birla Group, Mahindra, Tata's, Godrej, or even I would say Ambani? I mean, talking about Dhiru Ambani. Had ever there been a Tata Motors set up, an Indian manufacturing unit? If that had been the case 70 years, 80 years back, the kind of flamboyancy and the kind of attitude and the kind of so called coaches are giving them the coaching, will that bring that growth, that worthiness to India, to its economy, to its people? Or it will be the production of people like Lalit Modi, who went away from India taking God knows how many crores. Or there are many people who went, right? I mean, I can dig out the names. We all know, right? So is it reflecting about what is the kind of, we talk about leadership styles, we talk about leadership qualities. What are the basic leadership qualities if we are to talk about that? What is the kind of inspiration leaders are supposed to inspire, right? With their vision and thought, a group, a team, an organization. What is the inspiration as a founder of today's startup I'm giving when I'm raising crores of funding? And after that, in 10 years, 5 years, I'm showing a depleting loss of crores. Yet my business is it is celebrated as the top company and my financial worth is growing. I'm able to buy a huge villa in a Lutyens, Delhi. I'm able to live off my life in helicopters. And then 10,000 employees are fired because the organization is running into loss. So, what are we inspiring the people? Or we think that the people whom we have hired are downright stupid and fools. When we hear and we celebrate, oh, this, this person has got this wealth and this, uh, do we realize how this unmeasurable wealth has been amassed? Whether you're working in the public sector or private sector. So when we ask for work, we ask the lowest price, the most demeaning prices, and I like this heading, that he's a PhD and JEE pass out, but he's not able to even get 35,000. 2 days back on LinkedIn, there is a post, and he's an investment banker. Investment bankers get huge salaries, but he's saying that I'm even struggling today to even live my life in the most decent way in a metro city. So as citizens of this country, and we think that or we are very sophisticated, we are living in a crores of bungalows, and we have a fleet of cars, right? Do we ever give a thought to all this? uh, or at least now I should be given a thought. At least the minister has said, maybe lesser souls like us talk about, so maybe it's not authentic, but today the minister has talked about it, right? So I think it's time, celebrating something just out of proportion, and at what cost? So I'm not talking about leadership qualities and all, because I think uh, empathy, humanness, uh, know whether these character values, ethics are even considered. I don't think they are considered. I don't think they are considered at all today. So and yet, we have programs and a lot of people coming out today and using our Vedic knowledge to tell you to clean your chakras, to manifest, to do this, to do that. Whereas those Vedic knowledge is all free. Anybody can read it from those books. They never sold. They were never made commercial as they have been made today. So I think all these things, I'm just leaving the pointers here, they are taking us to the point of being conscious. What is consciously positive? And are we like really conscious about every action of ours? What are we thinking? What are we meditating about? What are we manifesting about? And what will it lead to? So, if out of 140 billion, if even few lakhs are doing pretty well, will that be okay for those few billion to a few lakhs to just live off their life on themselves if the rest of the janta is wiped out? I've heard a lot of CEO coaches talking about use and throw. If the environment of the universe starts doing that, and it is started doing that, use and through, do we imagine what will happen to all of us? If we as employees who do work and are hired, if we start using that mentality, what will happen to the people who are getting the work done? Because we say, that it's a cycle, it's a full cycle, the karmic cycle. So it's interesting. So I'm not going to talk about the leadership styles and all that stuff, but the very basic things I thought about, and it's again by keeping in mind people like Nelson Mandela, people like Abdul Kalam Azad, people like Ratan Tata in the business spectrum. Look at the kind of life he led. There was no flamboyancy at all. So there are many leaders we can talk about, but are we able to pick up anyone from today's startups? They don't even have the courtesy today. It's a very personal example I'm giving, that even to reply to an email. I was reading about a very old company called Shriram Group. It's a 70 years old company. Now his founder, Mr. Tyagarajan, still lives in a very small row house, and he drives a Maruti Alto, the lowest model. But he has a huge group and he's given that. So we ever really think about, we're talking about consciously positive. We are really talking about a lot of stuff here. Uh, and it's not about just Maven is doing that for sure, but there are many other individuals who in their own capacity are doing that. But how far are we walking that path, and how conscious we are about that as self, as individuals? So I'm not, as I said, I just thought that there's a huge euphoria, and yes, there are many of us who are in that spectrum of being our own founders of our own companies and our own setup. So I thought, yes, there is a huge ecosystem which has been talked about and celebrated. And it was, I thought, one lays down that, and then there is a other part, the so-called the dark side, which is often not many talk about it, and we just shy away from that most of the time. Like this Vanya Agarwal in US, she has been fired from the job, and if you see the video clipping, she has been really pulled out of the conference out. So there is just this one Vanya Agarwal. My question over here is, how many people in Reserve Bank of India resigned from their job when things were not going right over there? How many people in our Indian judicial system did that? How many people in our day-to-day practice address that? So, yes, we have to be consciously aware about what we are manifesting, or what we are being told to manifest, or being directed towards, or our meditation, or manifestation. And when we say consciously positive, we have to find what is are we looking we are practicing as consciously positive. Because I'm looking at everything very consciously positive for myself. But if I have got 10 ACs and 10 cars, and they are spreading to the environment, not some good stuff, are we supposed to consciously positively think about that as well, or not? And are there some steps for it? So yes, there are steps. uh, the steps are very simple. Be very transparent to yourself, because this journey is not with all of you people. The journey of this is with just the Param Atma, the Atma to Paramatma. So, I was probably, given a feedback that we should also talk about the ways to address it. So I thought to just touch upon that. So it's very simple. Being simple, my first session was the calling for 2025, live simply. So I think there is nothing, major defined steps that I make a package and I start selling that. Because I don't think our Vedas and all these things were sold or made commercial, which are being today. When I have gone all that, and I'm sharing very personally. 99 rupees masterclass. Please come and join. Chakra cleaning. And after that masterclass, please join the. This is a 50,000 rupees package. You will be given in 3,000. Please join it just now. So the one who is apparently got that so-called union with the ultimate, and all of us who are taking that, we all both of them have to understand, because we are not kids. Even a child understands. So I think it's all very simple. Live simply. If you have a desire or a hunger for one roti, two roti, if you will have 10 rotis, then I will only have to go to the bathroom, not you. Right? So if I am today having 50 lakhs and I'm wanting to manifest, and there are techniques to manifest that you become billionaire, right? So we have to first question, for what, for why, and what will I do with that? Because we have enough examples of people who have created a huge impact onto the world without being billionaires. And many of those billionaires have impacted by giving all that billion. Like I referred about Mr. Tyagarajan, I just recently read about him. And he's not into newspapers. So the steps are very simple. I feel be very conscious about what you are thinking, why you are thinking, what you are aiming for, and at what cost. Today I see a lot of people having a lot of stress in their work, but they're still doing it. And then the frustration is coming out of somewhere else, and then I'm running to some wellness retreat to get some overnight drink to remove that. So the lack which I'm earning here, God is making a cycle to take that lack somewhere else. So we need to understand that. We claim to be very, we have a lot of degrees today, and now most of the people are not having Indian degrees. They have all international degrees now. So character, values, principles, I think investment on that is very important. How much are we investing on that? A lot of lessons, a lot of gyan, a lot of information by our ethos, by our rishi munis is there freely available. It's not commercially sold. So if you really want to follow that path, you can do that even by going through a few of them, and they give you deep insight to completely change yourself. Earning money, creating wealth is not wrong, but the intent of it and how you are doing is important. I'm today opening a company and I'm turning 10, 50,000 people, bike riders and package delivery boys. Am I am I adding to the growth of that human being? or am I adding to the harm, to bring the harm to the environment and to the people? We need to be very, very aware about all these things. So it's nothing rocket science to live consciously positive. I think it's the most easy thing to do. So I think, kind of elaborated good enough on this subject. And if there are any thoughts, perspectives, add-ons to it which I have missed out, I'll be more than happy to kind of hear them.
You covered it very
Thank you.
comprehensively. Thank you so much, Shivani. It was awesome listening to you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm
Shivani,
not much familiar with the subject, but you held my attention also. Thank you so much.
You covered it so well.
Yeah.
I just, many people are um, materialistic and they don't know how to laugh. That is why I choose my business, as a laughter yoga teacher. They have everything, but they don't know how to. It comes with own family dynamics also. Parents have given them a lot of sanskar and they don't know how to like talk even in our own family. What is happening? People have no time. It, it's called work-life balance. So I'm very happy that I am spreading joy and happiness to the world, at the same time having having time for my family without complaining, without hesitation. I am there for my parents.
Wonderful, wonderful. That is what is, as I said, it's very simple. It's just being conscious what
Yeah,
I'm doing and what my intent is.
exactly. That is why hypnotherapy has made me like this. I'm conscious about my.
Yes.
I am persistent. I believe in myself, and I am aligned. I trust my journey of staying strong. I honor my journey of staying strong.
Yes. Yes. True.
Not many people who have startups. They are okay with what they have. They most Malaysians or people around the world,
True.
except for laughter yogis, most Malaysians and people around the world, they look for money as a evil possession. You know, at the end of the day, we don't. Money is a necessity, yes, but we don't we come with nothing and we go with nothing. So everything is impermanent, and of course, whatever we have, we enjoy it while we can. It's because
True.
it's a
Yes,
necessity.
very important points talked about by you. I think we I forgot, that to follow this path, having that dignity and respect for self. The moment you have that, you'll follow that path which you are talking about.
Yes, that's right. And as a woman, as an empowered woman, it's okay to express feeling. It's okay to be you. What I'm doing is I'm being me,
Right. Very
just
true.
being, just
True.
being
True.
you, not being my label, not being Miss Beautiful Smile. Of course, all of that is there. But most importantly, what all these have taught me is being you, just
Great.
being me, myself, in the best version of me.
Great. Thanks a lot, Rajvin, for sharing that. You always bring in that last thing that we need most of all. Thank you. And thank you so much, Shivani, for picking up that question also consciously positive. How consciously positive can you be? Raising a question mark, that's very good. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
that.
Thank you.
So really
Gratitude
enjoyed
and love
your
to
talk.
all. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you.
meet again tomorrow. Tomorrow morning is at 8 a.m. now.
8 a.m.